And so this one is, the reference is up there. And that's, it is. And that is what M. After the DNA is extracted, then it is exponentially amplified. So these little tiny traces of DNA are made into much larger quantities that then can be visualized or tested on various types of instrumentation. One of those kinds of instrumentation that we're implementing anew in the laboratory here is called massively parallel sequencing or next generation sequencing. All that means is it employs a different way to give you the DNA information. So in fact, millions upon millions of DNA sequences are read simultaneously from the same sample to give vastly more genetic information than is in a typical DNA test, for example, routine crime testing and this kind of thing. Again, in the past, we were dependent upon mothers and fathers and siblings, that kind of an arrangement. With the new approaches, with the much greater genetic data, we can identify out to even a first cousin as a reference sample. So this can greatly streamline some of the most difficult parts of the process, such as the outreach that's needed. Imagine for a missing migrant in the Mediterranean, the difficulties that could be faced in the multiple different nations involved in finding family members.
So what question is where we do the interviews? And then we can see
where should we do the interviews with the...
It was very, very important for me, and I think for all relatives that had family members there. You know, when you don't know where they are, when they are just missing, in your head you always have some kind of a hope, even if your intellect tells you that it's impossible. But the last thing you lose is the hope. So I think that it's very, very important to get them identified.
Any future settlement, it has to bring justice and it has to clear the destiny of the missing people, because the families of those missing people are the stakeholders in any future settlement. So how the ICMP are starting is very effective. It's going to be very helpful and useful for the future, and in supporting and just clearing the fates of many disappeared people.
Could be included at some point, but yes. It can include more photographs so that the families of the missing,
like here, for example, instead of just having the
exactly.
Yeah.
When we get a DNA match and we're using science to be able to identify the missing, that allows us to have accurate numbers regarding who went missing, when they went missing, and where they went missing, which then allows states to create an honest narrative rather than a political narrative of what happened during a conflict, which is very important for peace and stability for that state.
mal sagen, dass ein Lebensmittel keine macht.